Good morning, everybody. What is happening? Welcome back to Washita Valley, and welcome to the very first edition of my extras video. So, I mentioned this in my last video a little bit. So, what these extra videos are going to be, they're kind of going to be just no frills. Hey, come along with me. This is what I'm doing today type videos. And so, what we're going to be doing today, as you might have guessed from the thumbnail, is driving the floater truck. Now today what we're going to be doing is what I'm going to be videoing, the part I'm going to be videoing today is at the Kreger place. Now for those of you who don't know, my mom and dad own the Kreger place, and Kurt Stevens is renting the big field in the back from my mom and dad. That big field in the back is going to get sowed to wheat this fall, pretty quick actually. And the two little fields, or three little fields actually, that we'll see a little bit later, those are going to be my fields that my mom and dad are letting me farm, and they are going to be put into an oat alfalfa combination this fall. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be putting some lime down. Now this might not be the perfect ideal time to put down lime, but since they are pH deficient, and now is going to be pretty much the only time in the next few years that we're going to be able to work these fields and therefore incorporate the lime, it needs to be done now, before it's planted to wheat and before it's planted to the oat alfalfa mix. And I brought you guys along today just because I thought you guys might like to see a little more of this big field back here in the back. I think I've done a couple of videos that kind of showcased a little bit of it, but I thought you might be interested in seeing more of it. So Matt brought the tender truck out earlier, and so it is loaded with lime. I don't know that we're going to be able to finish this place without having to go back for more lime, but we'll be able to get a good start. The spreader truck here, it is it's full. We got 18.5 tons on, and we're just going to we're gonna get after it. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make the outside round around the whole field, and then we're going to kind of go from there. I'm probably going to get the GPS set up, and we're going to, as we go around the field, I'm kind of going to get an idea of maybe what the best way to do this is going to be. So let's get going. Now this is not going to be, this has just been disked once, so it's going to be kind of rough and bumpy. I'm not going to be able to go very fast, so I don't know how long it's going to take me, but I figured, hey, you guys wanted to see more co-op footage, kind of see more what I did at the co-op from day to day, so here's your chance. All right. So as you can see, this thing does put out a pretty wide swath. Now the thing about these broadcast spreaders, such as this, and such as, you know, a pull behind, or you know, one on a high clearance sprayer chassis, you know, whatever. So they're affected by a few different variables as to how far that they can spread. One of the variables is the density of the product that we're trying to spread. In this case it's lime, but it could be fertilizer, it could be phosphorus, it could be you know, nitrogen, urea, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So density plays a part. Size of the particle, or the mean, you know, the mean diameter, that plays a part. The shape of the particle could actually also play a part. Some outside things that will affect how far the product will be broadcasted. Humidity plays a big part in how fast, or how far rather, the product can be broadcasted. And then wind. You know, wind speed and wind direction plays a huge part in how accurate and how wide the product in question can be broadcast. So it's not windy today. It is a little bit humid, but it's just we've kind of got a window because I know Kurt, for example, he's about ready to get this field worked for the second time. So we kind of just have to get this done as we can. And I can already tell that we are gonna need more lime before we are done with this field. Alright, we'll head back to the truck. We'll head back to the tender, that is, and we will fill this thing up again. Now this tender trailer is pretty handy because I've actually got a remote in the truck in here, and I can start the hydraulic power pack on the tender trailer from the remote. I can run all the gates from the remote. So really about all I got to do is pull up under this spout, and this thing will pretty much load itself without me even needing to do much. Alright, here we go again. Now this this spreader here, it has got a it's got a variable rate system on here that will, one, you can put in a prescription map into the you can put a prescription map into the rate controller, or it will control the rate of the spinners and the rate of the belt that feeds the lime or the product based on the ground speed of the truck. So that is also pretty nifty. All right, here we go again. Now this is not really an extremely efficient use of the lime around the edges here, but it's just kind of one of those things. You gotta get into all the nooks and the crannies, and sometimes you put some lime over kind of into the weeds, and sometimes you maybe will miss a little just on the edge, but it's not that really, it's not really that much of an issue. you want it to be as accurate as possible, of course, but then at the same time, since you don't have a boom with section controls that you can turn on and turn off based on where you've been and where you haven't been, this is just kind of I wouldn't say it's a dumb tool, but I would just say that it's a very simplistic, as complicated as it is, you know, with the variable rate controller and all that kind of stuff, it's still just a very, you know, simplistic tool. These dry spreader boxes. Now, they have come a long way, you know, because used to, you know, variable rate controllers and things like that were, you know, they didn't exist. You basically had a drive system where you know, you could speed the belt that moves the product to the spinners. You could speed it up or down, and then you just tried to match your ground speed as to however fast the spinners were turning, and then also you know, how fast that belt is moving. And that's just, you just kind of did the best you could. So as rudimentary as this is, especially compared to, you know, like the Heggie sprayer that the Co-op has, it's still a pretty high-tech device. Now I'm going to warn you, one of the things that you guys may get in the extra videos is me talking a lot more than usual to you guys, or maybe even to myself, and you may encounter some rambling. So just throwing it out there, just warning you. One thing that I want to point out is that, so when you see an extras video come out, you know, a lot of these are still probably going to they're going to go along with you know, my more detailed episodes where, you know, I'm interacting with you know, the different farmers in the area, things like that. When I'm interacting with the people that I'm baling hay for, such as Jimmy or Steve. And so one of the things that you're going to notice is that the thumbnail for the video is going to correspond to what the video is about. So if you see an extras video, like this one, for example, you know, you saw the spreader truck. So if you see an episode with the spreader truck in it, you're going to be able to infer that, okay, this episode is going to be about driving the spreader truck, doing something. And let's say you see an episode where that has a thumbnail that has the sprayer on it. Well, you're going to be able to infer that, well, this episode must be about spraying something, because the thumbnail for the episode has the sprayer on it. Another thing is so that I can keep these episodes straight for you guys and straight for myself chronologically, is that, you know, say this episode, for example, the episode number is 33.5. Well, that means that this extras video is falling between episode 33 and episode 34. And, you know, it could be on some weeks I may release more than one extras videos, and if that's the case, you know, one of them might be 33.3 and one of them maybe, you know, 33.6. But I gotta have a way to help you guys and help myself keep these extras in chronological order, and I figured that's the easiest way to do it. That way, you know, if you run onto an extras video and you don't know where it's from, well, you can just say, okay, well, you know, his main vlog, you know, this extras video falls between main vlog episode, you know, X and Y. So I hope that makes sense. I think that once I put a few of these out, you guys are gonna catch on and understand and know exactly what I'm talking about. And I think they'll be fun. I think for those of you who wanted to see more of this type of stuff, it'll be fun for you. Okay, this thing is almost empty, this tender truck is, so it's not going to be long before we're going to have to go and we're going to have to go back to the co-op and fill up. Alright, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here to the other end of the field and we're going to see if we can get our GPS system set up on a line so that when we get back we can just hop back on our line and we can just really knock some of this out. I think looks like when Kurt disked this, he used his GPS also. I think if we maybe get on the same general heading that he was on when he disked this before, it's probably going to be the smoothest way to go about this. So probably what I'm going to do is just pick a spot to start in and we'll see if we can get lined up on the correct line, which I'm guessing by the GPS he just did this. He just set this up north and south. So let me get this quickly set up and I'll get right back to you guys. Alright, so I did go ahead and move over to the eastern edge of the field. I remember that I think this I think the road that goes from up towards the front back to the pond is pretty much straight north and south, and it looks like that's correct. It looks like whenever Kurt went up against the road that's over there towards the right, it looks like he disked that. It looks like he set a north-south line there and he made that his first GPS pass. So we're gonna just assume that's gonna be pretty straight until I prove myself otherwise, because if you hadn't noticed, there's not really a straight edge to this field, and I'm thinking that maybe this is going to be my best bet. I probably should have asked Kurt before. I might have said Steve just a minute ago. Kurt. I probably should have asked Kurt before what GPS line he set this up on. But anyways, we're gonna kind of see how this goes, and it won't take long before we'll be out of alignment. We gotta run to the co-op and get some more. All right, here we go. All right, yeah. So I think it's actually working pretty good. And you know, as I was saying before, the major downfall to this dry spreader box like this is, one, it's got a lot of variables that can influence how accurately it works, as far as spreading product and so forth. And then two, as you'll notice by the drone footage, there's no section control. You know, there's no way to shut a section off. You just kind of have to just do the best you can and try not to overlap too much and waste too much product. So it's it is what it is. As far as I know, this is about the only way you can put down lime is a dry box like this. So it's just kind of, it's just one of those things. Okay, I got to run back to the co-op and fill this up, because if you guys didn't know, we're pretty short-handed at the co-op these days. It's really just me and Matt anymore at the main co-op, the main Laredo branch there by the railhead. It's pretty much just me and Matt anymore since Lynn took over the old Galt co-op when we merged. So he's pretty much hooked up in a sprayer pretty much always, and so me and Matt are the only other two guys that have CDLs. And so Matt kind of has to stay back and like run the whole show, run the whole shebang, and so it's just up to me to jockey this back and forth. So I'm gonna hop out. I'm probably not gonna video anything because I'm just running to the co-op and coming right back. But I'm gonna run back to the co-op and I'll be back. All right, that took me a little over an hour, and I parked that where I can't get between the truck and the tree now. But anyways, that took me a little over an hour to run back to the co-op and fill this thing up. And you know, it's not very far from here back to the co-op, but it takes a while to fill that thing up out of a rail car. The belt that we have, the conveyor belt that we have, is a pretty big one, and it's actually pretty fast. But that thing, that tender trailer, really holds a lot of product. We're going to go back over here and we're going to find our GPS line that we were on, and we're going to hop back on it. Should be right around here somewhere. We're going to run into it in a second where our box went dry. Alright, here we go. Okay, so here's our line. Gonna gauge the GPS. Alright. And we're gonna be off again. There you can see it in the mirror. It's going down. You might be able to see it in the box, but we have a I was gonna say you might be able to see it out of the back window, but as you can see, we got a box right behind us, so you really can't see much of anything. Right, we're gonna turn around, do our headland. Alright. So I guess being inside the cab, you can really get a good idea of what the terrain of this field is like. There's really a lot of ups and downs and draws, and it's really going to kind of be challenging to farm, I think. Now the soil here is fairly tacky. It's not real sandy or anything like that, so I'm hoping erosion is not going to be a problem for Kurt, but it's going to be interesting to see how this works out for him. It's definitely going to be an interesting field to like run a combine in, and you know, so on and so forth. Something interesting that has happened as far as Kurt is concerned is that he got a new tractor. I don't know if I made a comment in my last video or video before or not, but I noticed that there was a tractor similar to his old four-wheel drive that was parked at the Callan dealership, and lo and behold, that was his four-wheel drive that was parked at the Callan dealership. And he got it's not a new, but it's a new to him four-wheel drive John Deere. So we will probably get to see that soon, because I do believe I may be disking part of this field for him, and then I'm going to be disking my little 3 alfalfa patches over there. I'm going to be disking them in the next few days so that we can work in this lime and get it to doing its job. So I believe that we are going to have enough lime on the tender truck that we're going to be able to finish this and do my 3 very small fields as well. I mean, my 3 fields, they're going to be so small that you know, part of the time it's going to be like one pass with the spreader truck, and it's going to like take the full width of the entire field. So my 3 fields, I think they're going to add up to around I think they're going to be around 10 acres. Maybe not quite 10 acres, maybe more like 9 acres by the time it's all said and done. But you know, I got to start somewhere, and this just happened to be, you know, some land that my mom and dad bought, and it's just going to kind of be an opportunity. I've got some news from the last video. I mentioned that Rusty, he was up, Rusty Jenkins, local equipment trader guy. He's up in the northern Midwest, and he's going to some equipment auctions, some estate auctions, things like that. And I mentioned he might have a lead on a tractor for me that'll be big enough to do some farming in the future and to run a large square baler, so I can bale Jimmy Green's hay, and then maybe, you know, have a large square baler in the future. So Rusty he's going to go look next week at or I'm sorry, this week rather. He's going to look this week at a tractor that a former Alice Chalmers dealer has got. And that's about all I'm going to say about the tractor, other than it is a tractor that is really not very common, and I think maybe I've actually only ever seen one in real life. Not that Alice Chalmers tractors are all that common around here, period, but this one is it's something kind of strange, and I'll give some of you guys a hint if you're tractor aficionados. It's going to fit right in with, well, I'll say this, it's going to fit right in with some of my other equipment. From what I started to say, if any of you know anything about tractors, you will probably, that would probably be too good of a hint for you. But it's going to fit right in. I think if I do end up with this tractor, it's going to fit right in. And from what Rusty has told me about it, I think it's going to be, I think it'll be pretty interesting to own it. So I guess the thing is it's not the prettiest tractor maybe that's ever been seen. But I guess it was owned by the former Alice Chalmers dealer, and so it was maintained by them. That the dealer also did a bit of farming, as a lot of equipment dealers do. He also did a little farming, and so this tractor is actually coming from his private equipment, private stable, so to speak. Rusty was able to get it's not really a great picture, but he was able to get a picture of it, and he sent it to me, and I think it looks like it's going to be it'll be a pretty interesting unit to own. Now, one not so great thing about the tractor is that it's not the prettiest thing in the world to look at. However, that being said, none of my equipment is the prettiest thing to look at. It is, however, a low-houred or a lowish. I'm not going to say low, but a lowish houred unit, and it's promised to be in very good shape mechanically, and that's really kind of the most important thing. I actually, from the picture that I saw, which was kind of a little bit fuzzy, it just happened to be the only, it wasn't from a very good angle, it was kind of fuzzy, it just happened to be the only one the guy at the time had on his phone to send to Rusty, who didn't send it to me. It actually looked like it had kind of a nice patina to it, so I don't know, we'll see. Rusty's still trying to kind of work at a price so that he can make a little money, and I can not be totally broke by the time I get it, and we're just gonna kind of see. It'll be a really good tractor, though. It'll be a really good size tractor, though, for a lot of the things that I need to do with it. Because, like I said, it'll allow me. It will then allow me to do a lot of my own farming with a lot of my own equipment, you know, eventually, and you know, allow me to bale big square bales, which is important to Jimmy. And if I'm going to be his hay contractor, it's going to be important for that. So yeah, I don't know. It's we'll see what happens. I've got to find, if I'm going to be Jimmy's hay contractor, Jimmy Green's hay contractor, and he wants square bales, which he wants square bales. You know, he didn't really handle anything else besides big square bales. If this is going to work out long term for him, which would be good if it did, because it's going to be pretty lucrative, I think. I got to come up with some kind of a bigger tractor, because I'll eventually have to have some kind of a bigger baler. And then, you know, with having, you know, these 3 fields of my own alfalfa, you know, one of these days I might get the opportunity to lease some more land, or, you know, eventually hopefully to own some more land. So it's just going to be, I think it'll just be a good deal to, you know, own a tractor bigger than the Fiat that I can call my own. I won't have to keep begging and borrowing, you know, people's tractors. And it'll just kind of help me get started doing my own thing in something that's a little bigger and a little more powerful than the Fiat, that I can use some bigger equipment and make a little bit better use of my time. Because as you guys know, I'm a college student, getting ready to go back to college actually here in just a couple of weeks. And while my schedule is going to allow me to still, you know, do some farming and some custom work for some folks, I'm not going to have, you know, every day to where I can just, you know, wake up in the morning and just go farm. I'm going to have to do school as well. So that's going to a bigger tractor with, you know, slightly larger implements that I can just kind of get more work done. It's going to be a good deal. And, you know, I've seen pictures of these tractors in the past. You know, I've seen YouTube videos of these tractors in the past, and I've always just kind of thought that they were interesting tractors because of the history that kind of goes along with them and sort of what they represent. And then there's just features and aspects of them that I think are really, they're just really unique and really very interesting. So yeah, we're gonna see. Yeah, so back to the tractor situation. You know, I've got you guys know from last episode of my vlog that I have a baler already set up on rent, and so that's good. Now I just need a tractor, and I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to trade some labor, like some tractor driving type of labor, with Kurt Stevens, and he is going to let me borrow his 7930 John Deere to get this hay baled. I think that's what's going to happen, because like I said, I do not believe that the tractor in question is going to arrive on time. So guys, I think I'm gonna let you go. I don't know how long this video is, honestly. I don't know how it's gonna be. It's gonna be 30 minutes probably, at least, maybe 45, I don't know. Let me know what you think about the extras videos. You know, I felt like you guys maybe might want to see just some farming stuff and just some not not really chopped up and edited, not really, not fancy. So here it is. Tell me what you guys think. Did you enjoy it? Did I talk too much? Do I sound dumb? Let me know in the comments, because I'd really like to know what you think. Guys, we'll catch you later.